You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays Podcast Network.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Welcome to another episode of AddSpace. I'm your host, Aaron Rand Freeman, but actually, the real actual host of the show, the CEO, CFO, lead art design, head of social media, travel czar, and lead therapist, Elise Bacon. How are you?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm alive. So I'm in recovery. I had finals last week, and with finals last week I had the most anxiety inducing time ever. Because it's one of those where like I have to have a specific GPA or I don't get funding, and how I pay for rent is entirely entirely reliant on funding. And I have never done more writing in my life. But I did write a 14-page paper through an anxiety attack.
You did an amazing job, by the way. It's
Yeah,
funny.
you held it together.
Yeah,
I did not hold it together.
Oh, you did. You did. You absolutely
I made
did.
Enough.
Did I make it through? Absolutely. Did I hold it together? Absolutely not.
I mean,
Fair enough.
I mean that
Fair
count.
enough.
I mean that counts. That's part of like the wartime discipline, is not just taking a grade and just throwing it into the cafeteria one day and running away screaming. Like, that's part of the discipline. So you did an amazing job of not torching the computer and throwing it out into the parking lot. You did an amazing job.
I just curled up in a ball and literally screamed, and then kept writing.
Right. That is the
I
discipline.
was very.
You did an amazing job.
I had to ground myself from like all games except for like Palia, because I needed like something to like calming enough to set my extinguish like my brain on fire,
Right.
but like not let me get sucked in like it would with Final Fantasy 14. So I was like, I didn't log into Final Fantasy 14 except to like do FC actions.
Well,
But I'm alive. I'm conscious. I'm very tired.
well, thank you for being on the program. We also have with us, we have the founder of the Black Astronauts podcast. We have Aaron Bapp. Bapp, how are you, my friend?
It's so many games out right now. Well, it's like, remember all those games that felt so far away during COVID?
No.
Nah.
They're all here right now, but they've been here for like 2 years.
Listen, I don't know if you know this. I have been drowning in video games.
Yeah, I don't.
For years now, and I am so overwhelmed.
But I feel like I feel like this month is like hitting critical mass.
Okay, so this month for me has been like the same level of stress I've had like this last March and the last year March. I don't know if y'all remember like the last weeks of March where it was just like bam, 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 bam. I'm just like, I'm dying. Please send help.
We also have to chime in. It's very important. The freest man in the history of ADD Space, who's always here because he wants to be. Every time he's here. Justin, how are you?
Friends, enemies, listeners of this show, it is time. It is time to discuss the only thing. There's only two reasons why you bring me onto a show. One is for goofy pirate shows. The other is for giant robots, specifically Armored Core. It is time. I want to thank all of you Dark Souls, Bloodborne players, all the money you have sunk into Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Elden Ring. It's because of you that we're here today. You have funded Armored Core 6, and I am grateful. We have not had an Armored Core game since Obama was president.
Oh my God.
The good times.
Uh, perspective, GTA 5 came out the same year as Armored Core 5.
Wow.
Yeah. Armored Core skipped an entire console generation, just went straight to next gen. That's how
Yeah.
long it's been.
But it looks so good.
Man, listen, okay. So I don't even know how, because there's going to be a lot of, and I've already seen it. Like I post the meme like as a joke, but it's actually happened to me where like folks have been like, hey, Armored Core makes From Software. I know LJ likes From Software or likes Armored Core. I like the Bloodborne series. I like Elden Ring. So would I like Armored Core? And I'm like, my sweet summer child. I will tell you about the Armored Core. Like, so the appeal of Armored Core comes from three places. The first is giant robots. Like it's obvious. It's giant robots. You're building a giant robot. You build it how you want. You spec it how you want. You outfit it the way you want. And it looks like what they're going for with this is they want you to have a few base models and then swap out your weapon kits so that you can outfit your core for different scenarios. So that level of customization is one appeal, like just customizing your giant robot. The other is the combat. Armored Core 4 Answer, until I get my hands on 6. Armored Core 4 Answer is one of the best feeling video games I have ever played.
But however, there is a learning curve.
Oh yeah, there is a steep learning curve with this series. Like it will give you the basics. Like this is how you move, this is how you aim, this is how you shoot. I'm not going to teach you how to be good at the game. The game is going to teach you how to be functional at the game. It's up to you to learn how to get good because there's so many different, like depending on your play style, there's so many different ways to get good. It really all depends on how you want to play the game. Like if you want to build a huge tank model, your version of good is going to look way different than someone that wants to build a light speedster sniper model, right? So the game
Is it going to have 2 legs? Is it going to have 4 legs? Is it going to have treads? Like all of that matters, man.
Yeah. And like all of that goes into like how you build your mech is going to go into your playstyle, your personal playstyle. So like while the game will teach you how to be functional in these areas, you're going to determine what works best for you and the appeal of just having that freedom in gameplay. Like it's one thing to say, okay, this weapon lets you fight this way, this weapon lets you fight this way. It's another to say this changes your movement style entirely. Right? Like going from a bipedal model to a quadruped model will change your movement style entirely and change the way you're able to move and traverse the game. Going from a quadruped model to a tank tread model will change how you traverse through the game. Being light, being heavy, that will change how you feel, like how the game feels in your hands. The kind of weapons you use will change how the game feels in your hands. Do you want a shotgun and a sniper rifle? That is a viable option. Do you want a shield and a sword? That is also a viable option. How do you see yourself playing this game? And this is going to make a lot there's a specific brand of Soulsborne player, the metagamer, the person that's always looking for the air quote best build, most optimal build, that is going to hate this game because there's no best build, there's no most optimal build. It's literally what works best for your play style. How do you want to play? So they're gonna scour the Reddit, scour the game FAQs for the best build, get their best build, go online and get thrashed by someone using the angel wings from Endless Waltz. And they're gonna be like, but this isn't optimal. Why am I getting thrashed? It's like because you don't actually know how to play the game. You're just following a guide someone gave, like you're just following a list of parts someone gave you. You didn't actually learn how to play. So
Yeah.
like, no, go ahead.
You could literally just have treaded up, all armored up, one big 90 caliber machine gun, and that could just go. Right? Like that could be your setup if you wanted it to be. If you wanted to do, like LJ said, maybe you wanted to put a sword. Well, there maybe we get a sword in the bipedal stuff. So now we got, 4 guns now that we could work with. It's just I'm ready to get my hands on something to be creative again. And I think a lot of these games that have been coming out here recently, I think that's something they all have in common is that it's giving you the opportunity to sink into them and be creative in them in a way that just doesn't come around very often. Especially with Armored Core, I'm very much looking forward to seeing because apparently you can share your builds really easily now. It's like a code that you just have to give out. So I'm really interested to see what people start coming up with once the game is fully out. Um, just I, to as soon as we get off the air, I'm going to play Armored Core.
Yeah, like so it's the giant robots, the customization, and sneakily enough, the lore. Armored Core is such a lore-rich series, but it doesn't spoon feed you the lore. It treats the lore the way a Zelda game would, where as you explore, you'll find things out about the world. Like it wasn't until the second or third time I played A Link to the Past that I actually understood the story and what was happening. Like I actually understood what was happening in each village, and I actually understood why Ganon was um trapping the princesses and crystals. Like the game isn't telling you these things up front. You have to go explore it as you go through the dungeons and as you read things. Then that's how the lore is fed to you. Um, for Armored Core 4 Answer, I'm going to go to 4 Answer specifically. The lore is given to you through the kinds of missions you take, and the speed running the introduction of 4 Answer. The base premise is your 5 major corporations basically rule the world in an oligarchy. They have polluted the planet to the point where society could only live in the stratosphere in these colonies called cradles. And they pay mercenaries to fight their corporate wars for them on the polluted surface. If this sounds like Iron-Blooded Orphans to you, well, the mech genre pulls from a very small pool when it wants to make political commentary. I mean, it's not like that well is ever going to run dry. So that's all happening. And like the missions you take are telling you the state of the world and telling you, hey, not everybody lives in the cradles. There are some people still trapped on the surface because guess what? Only people that can afford to live in cradles live in cradles. You still got people that are too poor to go up to go up that are stuck on the ground. You learn about the revolutionary faction that's trying to bring down the current establishment to open up the new place, the new settlement. We've destroyed Earth. We have to go to space. That's what the revolutionary faction wants to do. They want to go to space. You learn about the other faction is just like, hey, I've built my own country of refugees. Leave me alone. There's so much happening, and your actions affect it depending on which missions you take. And that's all wrapped in a gorgeous game that feels great to play, and it gets the power fantasy right. Right? Like what I mean when I say it gets the power fantasy right, you feel powerful without exploiting someone else. Right? Like the first boss of Armored Core 4 Answer is the Spirit of Motherwill. It is just this giant spider tank the size of 4 cities, and the game just says destroy it. It doesn't tell you any weak points. It doesn't tell you attack patterns. It just says destroy it. And as you just run up on it, you're just shooting it and slashing it. It is pouring out enemies at you while you fight it. You're like, how the hell am I supposed to take this thing down? But you do it. And when you do it, you feel great. It's just like, yo, I did it. I took down one of these huge corporate monstrosities. I can do this. I can fight back. And then the game has what might be the most horrific moment in video games I have played or I have experienced since the ending of The Last of Us. There is a pilot in Armored Core 4 called Old King. He is not the top ranked pilot. He's like top 5 or whatever. He's a minor character that you honestly skip over, but he offers you a mission. And he's like, hey, Line Arc, Orca, the corporations, they're all fighting their war. I know how to bring about real change. Come with me. And if you accept his mission, he says, we're going to attack the cradles. What's funny about this mission is you get the reverse of this mission first. You have to defend the cradles from Old King. So then as you go through New Game Plus, you get his side of it, where you get to actually take down the cradles. And since you're not there to protect them this time, it's just you against these 5 cradles, and you shoot them down. And as you shoot down each one, Old King just says, that's 20 million. That's 40 million. And as you shoot down the last one, he just says 100 million. It's like, oh my God, I'm the bad guy. And the game rewards you by having you fight the 5 best pilots in the game by yourself. You don't even get a good reward from it. Like the reward from finishing that storyline, I think you get a generator. You get something that's like not worth it in the end. It's almost like the game said, yes, congratulations, you're a giant asshole. I hope you're proud. I could honestly spend an entire show talking about Armored Core, talking about Nineball, who's been a boss of Armored Core since Armored Core 1, one of the hardest video game bosses ever made, and he shows up in every Armored Core in some way, shape, or form. Armored Core 3 is about these corporations taking Nineball's brain and shoving it into these advanced advanced Armored Cores so that they can to act as their enforcers. Like there's a lot of deep shit going on in these games. Like it's easy to gush about, it's easy to get lost in, and that's one of the many reasons why I'm excited about this series. I'm glad it's back. I'm excited to, like Aaron said, get to the customization, get to my builds, just get creative with it, just see how far I can take my build, just see how far my friends go with it. Like it I'm a little disappointed there's no co-op, but I'm okay with it. Like it's not a deal breaker for me because we can still all share experiences. Like the way we all tackle missions, we can all get the same mission and tackle it in a completely different way. And like just knowing that is going to be so dope to talk to people about this game.
Yeah, I'm so excited because like I haven't even looked, like I haven't had the opportunity to like touch an Armored Core game since literally the PS2 era. And you know how much I love mechs with all my body.
So I'll be completely honest. Like I'm not even a mech guy. Like I like mechs, but it's Armored Core, right? Like it feels. I'm a feel person, right? Like I like the way games feel. So I think like Symphony of the Night is one of the best games ever made, feel wise. Um, and Armored Core is up there too. It's really what made me restart my FromSoft love, and I just can't wait to get behind. I can't wait to get on my controller again and just do spins and just do all kinds of cool shit. That's what you can do.
Yeah.
Cool shit.
Yes.
I really like mechs. I like cool shit. I like flight sims, which like nobody really knows that like I actually like flight sim kind of kind of stuff. And guess what? Armored Core does really well. I also am a huge fan of, as we all know, politics and war games that don't shy away from how fucked up war is.
Heard you're gonna get a little bit of that in this here game too. So
I mean, that's Armored Core. I mean, it's why I love the Gundam series. The Gundam's like series is like people are like, yeah, cool mechs, yeah, everybody's badass. Oh, children doing war crimes.
Children doing war. Even the super campy Gundam, G Gundam, has a very political
G Gundam is sneaky political.
The whole point of G Gundam is we have polluted the earth so badly that we all have to live in colonies off of the earth, but we'll treat the earth as a battleground for all of our countries to fight for supremacy to determine who has the right to rule our government for the next year.
Yeah, so we don't go to war in space. Like it's literally a mech tournament so they don't go to war with each other in space like they had been for God knows how many years. I love G Gundam, by the way.
Yeah. The message of G Gundam, it goes against war as a concept because it's, hey, we're still having the Gundam fight is your proxy war. It goes against I don't want to say it has a very environmentalist message because one of the main baddies, Master Asia, his whole thing is we have destroyed the Earth. We need to return the Earth to its natural state. We need to bring nature back. It's like, oh, hey, even the silly Gundam with a literal Sailor Moon Gundam and a Gundam that turns into a windmill.
I forgot about the windmill.
All right, this is how cold G Gundam is. G Gundam is so cold. There's an actual Gundam named Zulu Gundam, and yes, it looks exactly how you're picturing in your mind right now.
Yes, it do.
There is a Tequila Gundam, and yes, Tequila Gundam looks exactly how you're imagining in your mind right now, complete with a sombrero. Matter of fact, Dose, I want you to Google Tequila Gundam.
No. I already know what Tequila Gundam is. You forget. I'm an anime nerd, so being around all y'all Gundam.
Oh, no. Bab, I know you know. I want Dose to look at it.
Other Aaron does not.
Yeah, go.
I'm already looking at Zulu Gundam, so I'm already going down the rabbit hole here.
There's Zulu Gundam. There's Tequila Gundam. The Gundam from America is a football-playing boxer that surfboards.
Yes, it does.
With a six shooter.
With a six shooter.
I love that shit so much. I wish Americans love themselves as much as the Japanese love Americans. But we took none of that inspiration. I wish some of us did. Jesus Christ, I love it.
Yeah,
Tequila.
Literally, like the best representation of.
Oh my God, he has a sombrero.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no need for that Gundam to have any other eye protection. It's like it's.
One second.
Also, does it have a mustache?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Fully functional.
It is a fully functional mustache.
Is it from Mexico?
I mean,
yes,
well,
it's Neo Mexico.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay. So I mean, that's that. At least they did that. That's good. At least it's from Mexico. I mean,
piloted by Chico Rodriguez.
Japanese are so.
Hey man, it's so much. I could have grew up so much worse. Thank God every day. Oh boy, guys, if you really looked at some of the shit we was watching back in the day here, guys, folks, I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. Hasn't been good. Hasn't been great here.
Wait, hold on. Is Zulu Gundam not Zulu Gundam? Hold on. Let me look. Zebra Gundam. Is that what it is? There we go.
I was about to say, because Zulu Gundam looks like a regular soldier. That's why I was scrolling, because I was like,
no. Zebra Gundam.
Oh, why is this straight out of Resident Evil 5? Like, what is this?
What game?
Resident Evil 5. Like, what is this?
What game? That game doesn't exist.
That game doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's it's got like a sash and rings and.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like a spear.
What is it? What is that on his shoulder? Like the zebra thing on his shoulder. Like, what is that? It looks like there's like two zebra heads on it. It's got like the. Why does it have like clothing and like shawl and? Why does it have?
Because how would you know it's a zebra Gundam if it didn't have the zebra shawl and spear?
I'm happy that all these countries have access to giant robots, and that's my official statement on the matter. I'm happy that we allow all of these places to have giant robots.
There's also
they thought they were being progressive. Look, all the countries have giant robots.
The Canadian Gundam is a lumberjack.
It is. It's very funny.
With flannel. with
It has
flannel.
it has an
It
axe
has
too.
flannel.
It looks. I mean, it literally looks like Paul Bunyan.
But yeah, the even the politics of G Gundam like smack you directly in the face. What also gets me about Gundam fans are the Gundam fans that unironically support Char Aznable, and it's like you know he's a terrible person and a child predator, right? Like
Oh,
you you understand these things, right? Well, yeah, he was did wrong. I'm like, yeah, the zombie family sucks. So does Char.
Yeah, people forget that, like, politically wise, I don't think Char's wrong.
Nope. Char has every reason to behave like within the context of his story. He is 100% correct.
100% correct. He's also a child predator.
I'd say remove from the context of his story and just like you want to take those politics outside of the world of Gundam. Okay, now we have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I'm super excited for Armored Core. I am super excited for this real robot renaissance. Uh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
All right, I'll do this. All right. So there are too many games. So we have to be very meticulous before we get caught out there. So we need to talk about Baldur's Gate. We need to talk about it. Has anyone played Baldur's Gate here?
I'm playing Baldur's Gate right now. I got it for my birthday from a homie. Thank you, homie. Shout out. You know who you are. And yeah, so I've been playing it. Well, I just started playing it. I had to put it off for a week because of finals. And I have made 4 characters. And all of those characters are going to be heavily subjected to the racism that is in this game.
Oh boy.
I am playing a Githyanki cleric.
Okay. Which you should explain to people.
I'm not done.
Yeah.
I am playing a Drow Bard. That's actually what I'm the playthrough I'm on right now. I am playing a half orc sorcerer. I have a fun backstory for that one, I'm not gonna lie. Because I like making backstories for my characters. And I have I have a tiefling paladin.
You copying. That's mine.
I had
got
no
a
idea.
Tiefling paladin.
I had no idea. I just wanted to make a really happy-go-lucky, plucky like tiefling paladin that wanted to be like a folk hero.
See, and then mine is a vengeance, oath of vengeance. So I just kill everybody.
Mine is gonna walk around oblivious of everybody being like, "What do you mean? What? Why are you being like? I'm just here to help."
Yeah, you get those options with paladin too. It's
I'm just like, I'm just here to help. I'm here to do the right thing. She's gonna be absolutely precious. They look precious too. They're fucking adorable. And all of my characters are black. I will say the character creator is very nice because you can make unambiguous black characters of all races. Though with the Githyanki, I had a really hard time trying to make one not look like Marianne Williamson. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is absolutely like if you were playing a D&D 5th edition campaign. I actually think it's a pretty decent introduction to people who don't understand how D&D works, because like literally all of the combat, everything is based off of the 5th edition system and works the way that it works. But it's also based off of 5th edition lore.
Unfortunately.
and it doesn't explain any of that lore. So it's for like players who are new to Baldur's Gate and who have never played a D&D game, who don't know any of the lore, who like just are unfamiliar with the universe itself. It's like, why are these characters being like really terrible to each other? Like everybody is racist, but like it's actually worse when you know the lore.
Yeah.
And they consulted one of the most problematic D&D writers and lore creators for Wizards of the Coast for this game, and it makes a lot of sense. Because whoo boy, there's a lot of fantasy racism. And this game is centered so far, at least in the first act. I don't know about the rest of the game because I'm still in the first act. Centered around illithids, which are these creatures from the astral plane, very Cthulhu-esque, Lovecraftian lore, mind flayers, tentacle face creatures.
Yeah, tentacle faces.
Tentacle faces. They turn you into tentacle faces. They control you with their mind and mind parasites and things.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things for those unfamiliar. And there is the Githyanki are part of a race that are just called the Gith. And they were enslaved by mind flayers for a large portion of like their history. And they were able to overcome and like become like independent, and then they kind of split into two factions. There's the Githyanki, and then there's like I can never remember how to pronounce it. It's like I can never figure out how to pronounce the other faction ever. But the one that I'm talking about right now, like they actually decided to go on like a path of revenge, and kill every fucking mind flayer possible. And there's also there's varying lore also in combination with Tiamat, who's an evil red dragon goddess. So there's like everybody treats like these Gith as like evil and savage and barbarians, and they are a very vengeful warlike society. But again, the lore is not written well. The lore is written very terribly. So like people respond to the characters as, especially one character, Lae'zel, they like respond to her very horribly, and she's just like, well, fuck you. And now she's also at a number 10 and could bring it down. However, with the enemy in the story being illithids, the mind flayers that like enslaved her entire people, her response to the situation is a little bit different than other people's response to the situation, whose people were not enslaved by mind flayers. So
and isn't it maybe you can clear this up for me. So the tieflings were also slaves of the mind flayers. How did the tieflings come about? I can't remember what the
tieflings
backstory.
have a long, complicated history, but they do not get on with
Githyanki. Well, they don't get on with Illithid, but I know they don't get on with the Giths at all, right?
There have been wars.
Yeah. Okay.
There have been wars. But they will team up with the Gith against the mind flayers, which is what was happening in that intro part. Like it was the Gith and the Gith and the tieflings were chasing after the mind flayers.
I do wish it was written a little better, but I agree with you as far as an introduction to D&D overall.
Yeah,
like it's a fairly good tabletop simulator.
It's a great tabletop simulator. My entire issue with it so far, because I'm still very early, my entire issue with it right now is that they have like all of that background lore is not there at all. So like if it's a new player coming in, they have no frame of reference as to why people are acting the way they are. Or why they're doing like behaving the way they are. Like for instance, like I am on this playthrough, like I'm playing as a drow bard, and like in some cases they're straight up calling me fantasy nigger. Like I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I had a child come up and be like, "Hey, you're a drow. I was told that you would that you kidnap children and feed them to your spider queen." And I'm like, "No." And there's actually like there's like different kinds of drow as well. So like some drow worship an actual evil spider goddess named Loth, who has an army of female priest cultists, and they do sacrifices and some really horrific stuff. But then there's other drow that don't follow Loth, because imagine a race having multiple deities,
Weird.
right? Am I
Weird how
right?
that
Like
works.
weird. But yeah, so like, there's another goddess who's actually the sister of Loth, who's like, we don't do that here. We're just, trying to vibe.
I mean,
And
we
there's
just get the whole see in the dark thing. I don't know about everything else, but
yeah,
like,
we're not doing all of that. Also, fuck my sister. Like she can go fuck herself. And the NPCs just don't care. You're all evil drow.
so the
Like,
only
like literally the best response I had from an NPC was, "Huh, I haven't seen many of you up here."
I wonder how many permutations of it is though, because I'm playing as a tiefling, right? And
I know
I'm not.
Tiefling's supposed to be bad.
It's supposed to be bad, right? But I'm pretty deep into Act One, if not in Act Two. And after like the initial, so I think a lot of this bears on when you do what. Specifically, the Druid village is very tough for tieflings if you do not save the tiefling village first. Whatever that means, I won't go any further. It can get rough. I've noticed that after that point, it's almost as if they treat you completely differently.
Well, so for me, it's because again, drow, every first interaction I have with a person, every first
Yeah.
interaction is a comment on me being a drow.
Well, that's because you won't get to the Underdark anytime soon, right? So
I
like
mean, but even when I get to the Underdark, like that's not, I don't think that's gonna change. Cause
I
like,
mean, it'll at least be more down there,
well, I
right?
mean, when I'm in the Underdark, people will be like, "Oh, hi, you live here." But like,
Right.
I not like above ground, like I said, like in some cases, I'm like legit called like fantasy version of nigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really fucked up. That should not be in this game. And it really sucks because like overall as a whole, like Wizard of the Coast has been talking about moving away from that stuff. And they're supposed to have been moving away from that, and like getting like one of the biggest changes that they made was like getting rid of like racial stats specifically,
Yeah.
like having um having like being like having imp based characters. So like if you were, for instance, a half orc, like you couldn't really be a wizard because your stats did not line up at all. So they kind of like they started like getting away from that. And spoiler alert, all of these races are like based are like were created with like really horrible racist intentions, which is why the lore is bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was made by a bunch of white guys in
Well,
the like 50s.
like orcs are based off of Asians and black people. Like I'm not even joking.
Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much been established.
Right. But
You know?
the Githyanki are also based off of like similar.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, like
just
you can like all of these characters were designed around that stuff, and they haven't really done any. And like during fourth edition, they started like pushing back on like that stuff and like rewriting the lore. But in fifth edition, they brought it all back.
I wonder how much of this was Wizards of the Coast versus how much of this was Larian, because I look at certain things as
No,
far
they
as
pulled they consulted one of the like worst writers who's
that's what I'm saying.
responsible from this from Wizard of the Coast.
That's what I'm saying. Like it, because the things that are the video game portion of this specifically are fantastic, and that includes some of like the customization features that you just don't see in other games, right? So like and some of the writing, some of the answers that you get are pretty clear. Like they don't agree with some of this stuff. Now I'm not defending Larian at all. It's a bunch of Swedish folks, have no idea what their values are. But it seems like the game is at odds with itself sometimes when it comes to that type of stuff. Um, which leaves me as somebody that is enjoying it in a really weird place. Because you're right, Bacon. It just comes out of nowhere sometimes. Like, yo, why are you? What did? Hello, I'm like just a person. I'm a paladin, right? And that racism, it will hit you. Um, and as a brown person, you do feel a kind of way. Like it's like, oh, huh. I wonder if anybody else noticed this but me, right? Like if I was white, would I have noticed this? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Oh yeah, I don't think it's unnoticeable, to be honest.
yeah, I mean it's pretty blatant in certain places. But
I
what I mean is if it would be felt the same way as if you weren't like if
I
it
mean
hits me different.
white people don't make that connection. They're
Yeah,
Right.
incapable of that level of
you know
empathy.
what?
Right. That's
I'm
why
sorry.
it's
You're
in
right.
the
You're right.
game. Like, to be
Yeah,
clear,
you're
if
right.
white people could absorb it the same way, they wouldn't put it in the game like this. They wouldn't. It wouldn't be here. So
Yeah, like that's kind of my issue. Um and it also it just felt really it just feels really I mean more unnecessary than normal, because like I said, they've been like as a whole try like stating that they're moving away from this kind of stuff like
Right.
lore wise, and then but like even one of the more recent modules, like this kind of stuff has been like becoming more prevalent again, and it's like it's I've been saying this a lot, and this is kind of like my issue. This is getting off of Baldur's Gate, but this is kind of my issue with D&D 5e. 5e, I is one. I think it's garbage, but two, like it's really just 3.5 with some Pathfinder, and the fourth edition rule sets that worked and people liked. Like that's it. Like it's got all the same problems as 3.5. And I fucking hate 3.5 for all of these reasons I just listed.
hmm.
It
um,
it's weird though because I wonder how much Larian modified 5e because it doesn't feel like the
oh,
combat system feels completely different.
nope, combat systems exactly 5e.
Wow, it feels
So the
different.
thing with 5e is that uh, there's a chunk of the rule set is brought over from fourth edition, and then the stuff from fourth edition that doesn't work with this new with 5e, they like made stuff, but it's all bad. Like it's, and a lot of DMs actually hand wave a lot of the rule set from 5th E, so it's not gonna feel like 5th E. But if you look through the rule set of 5th E, like it's
I mean, you're
really
rolling dice for everything.
it not even just the rolling dice, but like it's like how things are structured. Like I was asking questions earlier about lethal damage.
Mm,
So with lethal damage, turning non-lethal damage off only operates on melee attacks. You can't do
exactly.
it with magic or ranged, and that's a 5th edition rule.
Huh? I guess so. Yeah.
But a lot of DMs actually say that's bullshit and they ignore it. They hand wave it because 5th edition is garbage. So you have to like you have to hand wave a lot of stuff to make it playable because it's so unbalanced.
However, as a first-time D&D player that has no idea what any of what we just said means, like rolling dice, like you get to see the dice rolls, and I think that's the most important thing that is
Yeah.
standing out to me.
Yeah,
You know?
you see about half of them. I think so if it's a passive check, you don't see it.
No, you
Uh,
do. You
No,
catch them.
you don't roll if it's a passive check. If it's a passive check, it just says you pass or fail.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, but you still see the roll, don't you? You can go
no,
into the combat log and see it.
you have to go into the combat log, but it's not on the screen.
Oh, you play with controller. Never mind. Yeah. Okay. It's different. It's different on
No,
PC.
I mean on the screen, like it's not like, oh, you rolled a 19
Oh
when a
no.
passive
Yeah,
check.
you're right. You're
It
right.
just
You're
says
right.
you failed an
You
insight
failed
check.
an inside check. Yeah.
But I actually really like that because it's a passive ability. You're not supposed to like think about it. It's just looking at what your stats are, and then it's the invisible DM making the roll and just being like, oh, you pass or fail. But on any other skill check that you have to do, so like if you're having a conversation with somebody, there's an option for like there'll be like several options. It'll be like you can deceive somebody, or you could persuade somebody, or you can use like your wisdom, or like if it's like you have history knowledge on something, right? So you can use like the history knowledge. And so you get to like actually see the dice on screen to roll for that, and you get to see all of the bonuses and not bonuses that you have for that. And I think it's a really great visual indicator to
Yes.
explain something that's really obnoxious and convoluted.
It's so convoluted. But once you see it on screen, it makes it
It
so
makes
much better.
so much sense. Another thing I really like about it is there's two different UIs. There's like there's a full controller UI,
Which
and
is
there's
great.
a full mouse and keyboard UI. Though it is a bit jarring because like if you click with a mouse, it'll swap to the mouse and keyboard UI. And if you use like a button on a controller, it'll swap back to the controller UI. So like if you're a person who swaps back and forth, that's fantastic. If you are not a person who swaps back and forth, it's like, whoa, what's happening? Because they look very different. But I also like the fact that they look extremely different because you have different needs with controller versus mouse and keyboard. But I do think that mouse and keyboard UI could be less convoluted looking, and a little bit more simplistic.
Yeah, I think the controller version, especially for new people, I really wish that they would make it more apparent that you can use a controller to a lot of folks, because it's basically a behind the pack third person game, or no, behind the back game, excuse me. Um, and people think CRPGs are from top down and you don't get a chance to like really engage with your character, but it's one-to-one stick movement. And I think that goes a long way with giving this game legs for years to come. I'm really interested to see what mods come out once it's been out for a while and controllers have been prevalent for a while. So
I will say there's a really cool setting in the gameplay settings called karmic dice, which you can turn on or off. And what karmic dice is it makes it so it avoids failures, like repeated failures in successions. So like if you're just having a shitty rolling day and you just keep failing skill checks, like it prevents that while also keeping keeping the results like mostly random. So you're not gonna have because it feels bad when you keep failing all your rolls.
Bacon, I want the pain. I want the pain. Give it to me.
I don't want it. I'm fine. I play D&D. I And my favorite D&D campaigns are when you keep having like horrible rolling. The DM is like, I'm gonna give you a break.
Yeah,
And that's what it feels like the karmic dice are. The DM is giving you a break.
yeah. I think the dice again, going back just to the UI. I know we've been running on this a little bit, but like the UI, especially with the dice, specifically your bonuses, it makes what you did at the very beginning of the game make way more sense. Larian doesn't try and push all the information to you at one time. So like once you get your first dice roll, it's like, oh yeah, these are the bonuses you can get as well because you have these stats. And any other time, it would take me 30 minutes to explain to you why you need to roll this many times with this many dice this way. And in this game, it just gives you that option and kind of just lets you go from there. I really do. Once put it this way, if you have a stomach for RPGs, I really do think that you should invest a little bit in this, and maybe if you've been interested in D&D at all, maybe give it a shot because it's surprising. It's surprising how well it plays.
Yeah, the gameplay is very good. Although I will say, and this is like from multiple accounts, like once you get into Act 2 and later, like the further you get into the game, the more buggy it gets.
Hmm.
The game
Yeah,
is buggy.
yeah. It's not perfect. I will say
It
that.
is buggy. I had one of my homies had to like redo like 40 hours of stuff.
40 hours?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
A decision that got bugged early in the game had like more consequences than they wanted to deal with.
It's that kind of game to where if you don't
And
pick up something and at the end of the game you forget to
it
pick it
was
up.
it wasn't a side quest that got bugged, it was a main quest that got
Yeah.
bugged, and it was not a happy time for them.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so with the nature of D&D, D&D is got that kind of like part of it's got kind of that choose your own adventure feel. So like here's the overall story, right? And then you choose what you do as you go through, right? But every choice is going to lead to some kind of like consequence down the road. It's a very elaborate choose your own text adventure game. So if one of your choices gets fucked up for no fault of your own,
Yeah.
down the road, like it sets you on a path down the road, and then that's where you end up. So they had to go all the way back.
I'll give one quick like not even spoiler, but like example. So there are NPCs in the game. I killed there's a special vampire guy that everybody seems to love.
I
I
don't
do
care
not
about him.
love.
I am in yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty indifferent. He was pretty annoying, and I decided, you know what, you can't come to my camp. So I killed him. He turned his back on me. I smacked him in the head with a wrench, and that was it. However, I did feel bad about it because he had told me his story and it was all sad. I immediately revived him. There was actual dialogue specifically for me hitting him in the head and then immediately reviving him. He woke up and turned to me and said, "You kill me and now you wake me up. What's going on, man?" And I was like, "Oh, you can come to camp. You're great." You can, like it's that type of thoughtfulness in the writing. Like I'm already thinking that I want to play this 4 player just to see how different it's going to be because it's already so many different things that you've just said in the Discord, Bacon. I've never even seen, had no idea. Like it's so much stuff that I've just didn't do that way. So we have like completely different playthroughs right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's got totally different playthroughs, which has been fun.
Yeah.
And also there's like, because like again, you're gonna have like different skills and different abilities, and so that means there's different ways of like solving puzzles. Which is fine.
Oh, this game is very horny.
That
Like,
is what I know. Oh yeah, in the character creator, by the way, you can change, you can decide on what your genitals are. I feel a way about there being only 2 different kinds of vulvas and 3 kinds of penises. I think it should be 3 and 3. And honestly, what the difference is between the vulvas is, does it have hair and does it not have hair?
It's one of those statements where really the only response is yeah.
I'm like you can't even you can't even like there's not even like different style. It's just like, is there hair or is there not hair? And there's like different size lengths and like whatnot all on the penis structure. I'm like,
I just picked penis
cool.
A. I didn't give a fuck. I was just like, whatever. I'd get whatever.
Let me see what else. There's a lot. It's pretty in depth.
Yeah.
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 I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. My brain, full brain fog.
My brain thought needs to be more.
Listen, I'm just like, I'm sitting here.
The game needs more vulvatic diversity.
The horniness of the game. So yeah, you can romance your companions. Like you have various companions, and you can romance them. This game has poly romance, but not everybody will do a poly romance.
Yeah, I found that out, and now I'm sad.
They also, not everybody will do a poly romance with everybody, because some characters don't like each other. So they might do if you're having like a poly ship, like your partners have to get along with each other.
Yeah,
and
otherwise, like they won't allow for the poly ship to happen.
I mean, ain't that the truth?
Right, and I was just like, I really like the fact that they put like poly ship mechanics in it. I'm like, okay, let's go. And like it, of course, it's just like if they don't like how you handle a thing, etc. Like, of course, that'll affect your relationship, etc. One of my friends, actually the person who got me the game, it was really funny because they had slept with a character and then got into a relationship with another character, and then the first character got very sad about it.
I mean, yeah.
But wasn't angry about the character. Actually likes the other character. But and then the one that they had a relationship was just like, oh no, it's fine if you go and sleep with that other person, just make sure you come back over here. Actually, you would love her, Aaron. She big Aaron, other Aaron, giant Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
She is a very large tiefling lady.
She's the best.
She is a giant tiefling lady who likes smacking shit around. Just thinks she's a barbarian.
She is a barbarian.
And she's fucking hilarious.
She's too hot. That's her problem right now. She's like literally
she's on fire.
On fire.
Literally on fire.
She's too hot.
Like Sweet Tooth Skull, like on fire, like tangibly,
like devil flames on fire,
like on her body.
Mm-hmm.
Like she sometimes she just kind of like erupts into fire, and she's just like, whoops.
That's actually kind of funny. Do these flames burn, or are they like visual flames?
I don't know yet.
Because it might be a romance issue if she's gonna burst into flames, but if they're visual flames, then that's.
I feel like they actually like probably do, but I wouldn't know
do.
Yet.
Yeah, So
Because like it's literally on some fires of hell shit. And then she's like, nope. And after she's like, I'm fine, I'm good now.
Oh.
There's also basically apparently like all of the companions do have like their own traumatic backstory, etc. And from my understanding, all of them get better except for one. And the one who doesn't get better, I'm not gonna lie, it's not surprising.
oh yeah, okay.
He looks like the main dude in the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is the most milquetoast looking ass motherfucker, and is that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. Not ending well.
I mean, it doesn't end badly. He just
It's the same. More of the same.
he's a white dude.
Yeah. He's been in my party because he's useful, but as
He's
soon as
not
I can
been-
find somebody else,
He
I'm just
he
a wrap.
is not on my party. Right now, my party is Shadowheart, Asterion, and Lae'zel. I actually really like Lae'zel.
I love Lae'zel. She was my first fling, if you will. Like 2 days in the camp, Lae'zel was like, "Come on, baby." I was like, "Whoa, calm down there." It's it's on my first night of camp. No, let's go. Like, okay. Well, and now we together. So
She said it's your first night of camp, but it's my first night seeing that ass. What's up? Bring it over here.
I mean, technically, you're not wrong with that. She is very specific and knows what she wants.
Oh, she doesn't mince words about nothing. She was like, I'm gonna get this information from this guy, and now that guy was a little racist at her, and she's just like, bitch, you will bow down before me or I will open your guts on the floor. And we're like, Lae'zel. And then he's just like, I'm not gonna, and she's like, you will bow. And he's just like, let me go and bow. And we're just like, ma'am.
Relax.
Now, I'm not gonna say you are wrong.
She's that friend that's always on 22. That you
Yes.
always gotta calm down.
She's at 20 and we're like at a 2. And we're just like, can you meet us at 10?
Yeah, her motto is, well, fuck it then. That's her.
And I mean, the scale is 1 to 10. We're like, can you just meet us? Can you just meet us like down here just a little bit? So yeah, that's an all over the place discussion overview so far of like 10 to 15 hours in on Baldur's Gate.
I don't even believe it's all over the place, because that seems to be the nature of the game, is to spread it out all over the place. Like that is what is the hook, is it's a chaotic game, expertly crafted for maximum chaos. So I don't think you can. I think this is it. I think you've just described two people just had a discussion about Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think
I'm
any
not
of the
gonna lie,
what?
It is the exact same level of batshit that a D&D game is.
Right. And in that way, and that's the success of it. So it's like there's no wrong way to have this conversation, because this is how the conversation is supposed to go. And I imagine if there were like devs on the call, they'd be very amused at how many different directions that conversation went. That's what they wanted. So you guys are doing it right. And
last thing, I forgot how much space was in D&D. Like, I always forget, like, oh yeah, these motherfuckers be in space all the time. Like
the astral planes.
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
That's where the Illithids and the Githyanki come from.
Yeah, so like for anybody that just thought it was all fantasy, nah, it's a lot of weird shit in D&D.
There's so much weird shit.
So you are correct. It was an accurate conversation about Baldur's Gate 3.
Right. I don't know. So because there are so many games out, I'm trying. Something is not going to be able to be bought within a reasonable window, and I feel like it's going to be Baldur's Gate, because there's so much. Like, I understand that you never did it before, but there's so much richness to it. I feel almost like I'm disrespecting D&D by knowing nothing about anything.
No, it's a great entry period.
Yeah, no, this is
One of the few things like that makes 5th E okay. When I talk about the versatility of 5th edition, I talk about it in the same way that we talk. There's jank computer games that come out, right? And modders go ham because the game is jank and there's just not enough content, so the modders end up making the content.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5th edition D&D. So you have this jank empty framework, and because it's so empty and it's not well done and it's not well put together and it's not balanced, you have a lot of room to improve it. Like with homebrews are basically using like homemade rule sets, homemade modules, changing like official modules to like meet what you want for the game, and what you want to get out of it for your players. And so Baldur's Gate 3 actually does quite a lot of filling in some of the gaps that are like really missing from 5th edition. But because of that, because it's so empty and because it is so like versatile in its jank, it makes it new player friendly because you can just do whatever.
Yeah, you can really take on your own character in your own world with your own story deal.
Yeah, you can really you can really self-insert because of it. So it's still convoluted shit show, but because Baldur's Gate is visual, a lot of you're not and all of that convoluted shit show is already being dealt for you. You're not dealing with it, so it's very new player friendly.
Right, like the thing I like, I know we got to move on, but the thing about the insight thing that you talked about earlier, about rolling for insight and rolling for like constitution and shit like that, all being in the background, and all you see is failed, passed. It makes people understand, like, oh yeah, this is what you would be doing if you were sitting at a table.
Yeah, it's literally when your DM goes, "What's your passive insight?" and you go 16, and he goes, "Okay,"
and that's it.
And you're like, "What happened?" And he's just like, "Nothing. You don't see anything." Or if you do succeed, he's just like, "Oh, look, you found like 5 traps." You passed your perception check. Your passive perception has let you see that this room is filled with traps. There's like 10 traps in here. Think you were watching me play last night when I'm like, there are 18 traps in this chapel. I kept turning around and there were more traps. I was like, I have never in all of my anything in D&D, in playing Baldur's Gate games, I have never seen a room with more traps. What the fuck is happening? Like, I turn around and have been like, perception check passed. You find another trap. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, God damn.
But this is a forever game. Like, this is one of those games that it's infinite. Like, because each one of the origin characters has their own story too. So, like, if you want to play as the Tiefling, or if you want to play as Lae'zel, those are all their own separate stories on top of what you can do yourself. So, yeah, don't rush. You got time. You got time.
We used to have a D&D show on Unreasonable Friday, like as a whole.
I would love to do 4-player co-op with y'all. It would be great.
That would be a good show. Just logistics. We could, anyways. Not pitching new work. Just saying the concept.
I'm pitching new work. We need more content, motherfucker.
All right, fine. Newark is
What
being
the
pitched.
fuck? There's one show right now.
Okay, Newark is being pitched.
Jesus.
A Baldur's Gate stream, and then we record the audio and then throw that up. That is a possible show that would be very enjoyable because the way Baldur's Gate co-op works is the 4 players in the game can all go about their own adventures and do their own thing while like within the confines of the game. Like, just because we're all in the game together doesn't mean I have to adventure with you. I can go off and do my own thing. I don't know how that game handles decisions in a co-op campaign.
I mean, technically, so the way, even though we're 4 adventurers, like, we don't really want to split up too much because combat.
That's how you get your ass kicked.
That's how you get your
Okay,
ass
so
kicked.
it's not like Pokemon where we can all explore the world at our
Oh,
own pace.
oh,
I
oh,
mean,
you
you can.
Well, I would suggest at least going in pairs.
You can, not recommended. And I believe when it comes to decisions, it's like whoever initiates the conversation, but I haven't been in a co-op.
So it's whoever initiates the conversation, they go by those stats, and then you can add whatever group bonuses are available from the group. So like if I got plus insight or plus dex, I can add that on, and then you can view that person's cutscene by clicking on a little face button, and it'll let you see what choices they make.
There's no way for the party to disagree on a decision.
Oh yeah, you can disagree. I mean, but it's all up to that person.
Yeah, I'm about to say, rephrase. There's no way for the party to make 2 separate decisions.
No, not about the same. Not about the same.
And that makes sense because even in a D&D campaign, it while it is possible to do that, it is hell on earth for the DM managing all of that. So,
and like I was explaining to somebody, like D&D is more of a cooperative game. The second you start going into the uncooperative, it becomes not fun for most people.
Now, it will be parts where like me and Bacon might be in combat and you on the other side of town. So with you being out of combat and you say like you're a wizard, you can shoot your grease or whatever spell you want to use and not be in combat. So you can do it as much as you want until you get close to us. So you like could be pickpocketing somebody while we're having a conversation with them. Like that's what you could use that type of stuff for, which is really cool.
Will it have crossplay?
I don't know.
No, it will not. I looked into this. It will not have crossplay. It will have cross saves through the Larian account system, but it will not have crossplay.
Ah, okay. So then
I wonder if when Xbox launches next year, if they go.
I feel like that might be like that might be something that they might be able to
have PC, Xbox crossplay because it's kind of the same ecosystem.
Have PC, Xbox crossplay or whatever, because like it's kind of like with the cross saving, like it's all server based,
right?
Okay.
There was an internet outage in my area yesterday, and I lost 2 hours of gameplay because
I don't understand. Wasn't it saved locally? Like that doesn't. Like...
No, that's
cloud saved.
You F5 everything.
So
all of the saves are cloud saves.
I know, but doesn't.
No.
It saves at certain moments, but they are like large moments.
I see. So it's like the big meteor moments, and then it doesn't save for the previous. Like it's every for it doesn't.
There's
save.
there's 20. You can actually have as many autosave files as you want.
Right.
But those autosaves are also cloud.
Oh, that's peculiar. But okay, I didn't.
It is an always online game.
Right, but even that's interesting.
It is an always online game.
With how much this game rolls, though, I understand why.
It makes sense. There should be a local backup.
Yeah, there.
Because that was some bullshit. I because I missed my internet. I missed the fact that there was an internet outage. I had
Right.
no idea.
It should have a local save or immediately alert you on the screen very tangibly that you're about to
Yes.
be taken off the game because we can't save your game and there's no internet, so you're off the game or we're having a local save. But to then remove your ability to have saves quietly, I mean, but
I could, and because I was disconnected, I couldn't save or load.
right.
Mm.
Right, that's what I mean. That's a strange one. I'm not saying I understand why the saves are in the cloud, like I get it, but there needs to be some balance. So either a direct alert about your internet situation or offline saves. Just even like big ones. It's like
Yeah,
once an hour.
you've disconnected. There was no alert. I had no idea.
Right.
Oh wow.
Right. Well, the Baldur's Gate is idea. Also, some folks have been sniffing around about doing a proper D&D campaign anyway, like the old show. So, like I said, there's something brewing one way or the other between Baldur's Gate and like actual D&D. So we're gonna ride this wave right now, and also because people have been asking, like about 5 or 6 people have asked about that old podcast. It's very peculiar. So you know what? I don't know if Baldur's Gate has given niggas the itch. Either way,
Yes.
I think in general the itch is just here,
you know what? Something I've realized is
but we need a DM, and I don't DM.
Eric's
And I do not. DM.
Eric is gonna do it.
Oh, I
Oh,
love this.
perfect.
I know that's one of the reasons why I was like literally why I never even said it out loud, because I'm like, no one wants to DM and I have no idea how to do it. And Erica was like, understood. Erica was like, sure, I got you. So yeah, I mean that's what we're looking at. So it might be a possibility. Also, I was saying is I think folks like the adventure. I realized this when I was playing Remnant 2 with some people I was playing Destiny with. And I realized the hook in that game is very much the loot, not the grind. And I think a growing number of folks are tired of the grind and would like the adventure. And I think I'm seeing it around me more where folks just want to go on adventures. And they don't necessarily, because they happen to like Diablo. Like Diablo's grind is so immense that it turned some folks off, and the folks who remain pretty much turned it into like accounting until they didn't want to do it. So it's like and it's like, and the grindy games, what they do is they exist. People grind the game, and then something happens and they lose their nerve and like turn all the way on it. Like they go from really being about this grindy game until they are no longer about it. And I think it's less about those games, because I was listening to like the Destiny guys, Destiny community freaking out about Destiny. And then Diablo came out and all the Destiny people were like, see, this is what you should do, Bungie. You should do this. And about Diablo 4, and now 2 months after Diablo, everyone's Diablo 4 sucks. This is season model, having everybody run their shit back. And I'm like, I think you're all tired of grinding. And I see the people who have been like enthralled by like Remnant, which is either a Souls-like if you want to turn the difficulty up, or it's just got the best loot discovery for a smaller game in years, where secrets have secrets that have secrets inside them that translate to other secrets if you want to use that item for something, or you can keep it and have an item, or use it again to access more secrets. And that system of just continuous discovery over grinding has like sparked so much joy from people who I hadn't seen it from in a long time. And I think like between Baldur's Gate and Remnant, and just general uptick in like an interest in D&D, I think the adventure is what we're into. And I'm just saying that out loud so that if you're listening, just kick that one around. That how you feel, like you might just be in the mood for adventure. Like if you're one of those people that think you're in like a gaming rut, you might just need some whole adventure. Just a suggestion. This is something I've observed. It's part
Remnant is very good about that.
Right. And the hook and like it and that kind of thing where like a lot of games are trying to streamline their grind because people just are turning on having to grind it all. Like Diablo 4 came in long grind, full brain chemistry manipulation out there stirring that shit around. But after a few months, people are like, they just like full on revolt. I don't want to do this. And
why am I not getting stronger?
right. It's like there's minimal power fantasy in that game, but I also think I think people just don't. I think they're getting a little tired of it. And those games were kind of very popular, like when the pandemic first hit. A lot of those grinding games were getting chewed up, and I think we're in the end of a cycle. And I'm interested to see how some of the games that come out, that big glut of games in October, are received. I want to get more data, but I do have a sneaking suspicion we are tired of grinding. More tired than we're willing to admit, which is why I'm just saying it on the air as a suggestion to anyone listening. And if you're already tired of grinding and you already know, then all right, then you're already there. God bless you. And,
I mean, the Destiny developers recognize that. That's why this latest showcase, they basically said in the beginning, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna do a story mode at first. You have to do it."
Right.
That's essentially what they said.
Right.
Because we know you're tired of grinding. Here's this story mode that we've been promising for like 4 years. It's here.
Right.
You know, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
They're making it so anyone can play with anyone at any light level, and your actual light level, or I guess it's going to be your gear level. Like, they haven't specified, but I think they're just going to have an overall score based on experience. I don't think they're going to have you necessarily grinding individual pieces of armor. I think there's going to be an overall gear score that gets pushed up through a variety of ways, I guess. And they're making it so that other people don't have to grind if they don't want to.
yeah, like I can come in and you could be 200
right
and be good for
right
everybody.
Yeah, and I appreciate I think Bungie's getting ahead of that. Like, they've already begun the process. That's why per season you're no longer pushing your light level up past the pinnacle cap, which like it used to go up 10 it used to go up. No, first they made you do all 50, and then they started making you do 10, and now they don't have you doing any. And the light level that you get after the once you get to the max light level at the Comet DLC, then that's what you have for a year until the next one. So I think Bungie's seeing it, and I just think it's kind of a growing disdain for it. And it's right. I mean, like I said before, you get tired of it. So just a suggestion. Yeah, if you like adventure, maybe you might even want to just try Remnant 2. Full stop. That game has so many secrets in it that you will have to consult the internet and still be wowed by the amount of secrets that you have access to. Even if you have the internet open, even if you're a 50-tab warrior, you will still be delighted by the amount of secrets and lore that you uncover if you make that type of game. And I think that's more of what people want.
Yeah.
So
I found out a secret about the tree that grows in your thing after you get that certain item.
yeah.
I found out that you can age those fruit.
Yeah,
and it becomes a different item.
Yeah, if you eat 3, I forgot what they're called, like Thane fruit or something like that. I forget what they're called. But yeah, if you eat one at each 3 stages, you get a perfect one, and that becomes an actual relic that you can actually use as an item.
That's ridiculous.
So bacon, there is a seed you get from one place, and you can plant it in your garden at your home base. And if you wait, I think it's like a week, like a full week cycle in real time, and every 2 days it grows and you eat it, and then you eat another side, and you eat another fruit 2 days later, and you eat another fruit 2 days later. And then after a full week, then you'll notice that it's a fruit that's like solid, and you actually don't need to eat it, as you reap the benefits from just holding it next to you. And that becomes an item that you can wear. And that's the type of game it is.
But you can also use that fruit for something totally different.
Oh yeah, you could throw that fruit inside of. So there's also a Fae god of dreams became the god of nightmares when she realized that she could devour the fear and horror that she generates from giving people terrible dreams. She can actually eat that. And then she turned heel, but she has these webs that allow her to pass between dimensions. So you can actually throw things in there and get different things out of there. So all out of the items that you would collect, that you wouldn't be able to sit on and just have, you can throw them in to get other items if you want. is that type of game. And
Or you could just play it regularly.
Oh, you can play it. No,
and,
you can.
and
Or you
not
can
know anything.
Right. There are some reviews. My favorite bit are the reviews that are like, yeah, I completed the game in 10 hours. You know, I think it's a pretty basic game. I didn't really get the hubbub. You know, it's kind of a basic shooter, but, you know, it's very serviceable. You know, 7 out of 10, you know, if you're into this type of thing. And then there are the people who put the 300-400 hours on it and have found hundreds, no exaggeration, hundreds of hidden items across multiple variants and playthroughs. And those reviews age, and I'm not knocking those people because you are on the clock, and the game does appear to have very little in it, until something happens to you. So, and you'll be playing, and this is how it goes. There's one place you can play, and if you keep going near these large sewer grates, there are items near them.
Yes.
And then one time you might get pulled into the sewer by a giant rat. And that's a whole different area of the game that you will not have access to unless you get pulled into the sewers by a giant rat. There's a whole hidden subclass, and there's a hidden subclass, hidden weapon, and hidden armor, and it gets the ball rolling. That this thing that I did not need to experience happened to me and gave me a whole extra subclass, which means how many more subclasses are there? Because there are several hidden ones, including
I'm
one.
sorry, what is this?
This is Remnant 2.
Okay.
Remnant 2.
Okay.
The most the most secret filled game I've played all year. I don't know about you, Bing, because you've played a handful of games, but this is definitely like I could go on for a whole episode just recalling the different circumstances that get your brain going, and then you think you've figured something out, and there's more to it, and there's more to that. There is last thing I'll bring up. There's an evil boss that gives you the option of killing its counterpart, its good counterpart.
The two kings, yes.
Not the two kings, the Ravager and the Doe.
Oh, the Ravager
right.
and the Doe.
And if you kill the Doe and just go along with the Ravager gives you a seal, its own seal. And now there are statues all over the area of the wolf fighting the deer. There are 3 or 4 of them. It's just like these ornate statues. Now, if you have the Ravager symbol, you walk up to those statues, the wolf eats the deer in the statue, and then the bottom opens up. And you get hidden items. And there's one item called the Fruit of Death, where you eat it and you die. And then you eat it and then you die again. And if you eat it a 3rd time, then you get an item from it. You wake up again with an item stuck to you from eating the fruit that seems to just kill you 3 times after making a deal with the villain of the world, like the world boss, killing its counterpart, which they tell you is very good and very helpful, and then finding a statue of the wolf and the doe having their eternal struggle. That's the type of game it is. And I think we want more games like that, like Baldur's Gate, where you have 45,000 possibilities walking in a straight line. And I don't know. I'm marking a change. If you're listening to the show, you can hit us up on Twitter. It's UN Fridays. You can find Bacon Before. Is it? It's still B4Z0.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm like kind of on Twitter.
Listen,
Twitter is
here's
dying.
the deal. Here's the deal. We have to ride it out until the dragon absolutely hits the ground, because we can't settle on a place yet. We haven't settled our migration as a community. We haven't settled.
I know, but Twitter is like almost useless to me. I'm not even getting DMs.
And listen, we all agree. We all agree, but we
could just open the email. We have emails.
Oh yeah, we do have emails. You
I'm
can email.
Still waiting on the Negro Coalition to tell me where to go.
Well, we have
okay, so there's a lot of different options, and like one of them, so like we even have like 2 black made ones. Like there's Spill and Crucible. Crucible was made by not Crucible. My brain. Spoutable.
Right.
Whatever.
Spill?
No.
Okay.
There's Spill is the other one.
Okay.
Excuse me. Like no, really. I'm having like a severe.
Oh yeah, that's fine. You like I said.
Severe brain moment.
Oh, I understand.
It is Spoutable.
All right.
A little whale icon.
Right.
The creator of that one is a former person who used to work at Twitter.
Right.
And is black.
Right.
And the tweets are spouts. And so that is one of them. I thought it's actually very cute. It's not really taking off, but like it's there. The other one is Spill, but Spill is iOS only.
Yes.
Not Android only. It's just iOS.
Yes.
But they are working on a browser version. But until they come out with that browser version, I will not be there because I am not part of the Apple ecosystem by any stretch of means, and I will never.
Well,
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
It is garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it's great for people who are in it. It's great for people who have been on it for a while or who want just that kind of like simplicity, not knocking any of you. You will all make great decisions.
I got my
iOS does not work for any of my work methods at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
I have very specific systems all set up for all of my stuff, and iOS does not let me do that.
I like the way you sprinkled that simplicity on there, though.
I mean, I'm not. Listen, I'm not. I don't think
it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't knock it. Like I'm not
Simple's
gonna lie.
No.
really good.
Like that's literally why I like it, is because I've spent so much of my time underneath a computer and in various terminal fucking situations on Windows that I don't want to do anymore.
Getting a computer, opening it up, having it have everything you need right there,
Right.
and it matches all of your systems is great.
Right.
I like setting mine up so it does that because I have very specific work methods.
Right.
And iOS does not work with any of my work methods.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I didn't say anything. Like I'm just laughing because it's true.
Yeah.
If iOS doesn't work for you, it's so simple but so rigid that it will never work for you. And that's it. Like it's just that simple.
That's it. It's just my mom had the same problem. My mom had tried moving to the Apple ecosystem and then was just like, I can't do the thing I want to do.
Right. So and that's more annoying than literally anything. That is the most annoying thing. So
yeah, I was just trying to set up for a joke.
Oh, sorry. We know that Bacon here is the notorious joke killer.
It's not even that. It's just that there is like there's serious like discourse about iOS versus Android. So it's like there's so much serious discourse about it that it's hard to make a joke because people don't let you make jokes about it because they're serious. And even the people who are joking are still a little serious. And it's a minefield. The iOS Android discussion, the iOS Windows discussion is a minefield. So we apologize wholly for rolling over your joke with a Zamboni. We're sorry.
It's all good.
We're sorry.
I was just like, I didn't mean any of it.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, a lot of people do. That's what it's like. You're making a joke a joke that's not really a joke as much as it should be. I mean, it should be consistently a joke because we're talking about iOS and Android and Apple and Windows. It should be a consistent stream of jokes, but it isn't. But let's see. What? Oh, Jesus Christ, we have a lot of time. I feel like we're gonna need to come back once people have played Armored Core and talk about.
Yeah,
Armored
we
Core.
can't talk about that
right.
for a little bit.
So we're gonna need a return so we can talk about proper Armored Core. We're also going to have to talk about planning out the game purchases from September to October, because there's just a lot of games. And funny enough, I get a break because a lot of the games that are coming out in that big chunk of time from September to October, I don't care. For one, it's a time of year where they stop bringing out all the indie games and those. So I realize this now, and I didn't piece it together, is that the classic 2D top-down shooters, or vertical side-scrolling, whichever, the word is shmups, but I hate that fucking word.
I hate it.
It's such a horrible word. It hits the air like a empty soda can. I really hate it. And but those games come out all summer. So when you think that there are no games out in the summer, there are actually several $30 to $40 classic shooter purchases looming. And so I've been buying games all summer. And now in the fall, I think I only want 1 or 2 of these games. And a chunk of them are on Game Pass. So
Good old Game Pass.
Right. I think I just want, just looking right now, I think I want just Spider-Man and Alan Wake.
Alan Wake said, "Whoa, hold on."
Oh yeah, Alan Wake did the mature thing. Right. That's mature.
Alan Wake. I've never been an Alan Wake fan, and I am the biggest Alan Wake fan now.
As you should be. You get to play as that black lady entirely. Also, the devs were mature enough to be like, the corner is too hot. We will push our game back by 10 days to make sure it's out before Halloween, but not like within a week of Forza, Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed, Lord of the Falling, Detective Pikachu, Super Mario Brothers.
There's a Super Mario Brothers game coming this year.
Right. So it's just like within 14 days, there are about 6 or 7 major game releases. So Alan Wake, they pulled it back 10 days. You know what I'm interested in, and this is a bit of an aside, Alone in the Dark, that reboot is still on schedule. And that's bold. I played the demo. That's a weird game. That's a bold.
I mean, I think, and I could be wrong, they know what they're getting into because it is a weird game.
I mean, Alan Wake is coming right up behind it as the weirdest game from the weirdest people. So it's like even the what Alone in the Dark is trying to do, specifically being a survival horror game, Alan Wake is like looming in that space, and it's one of those rare survival horror games that might sell 1 million copies because of how popular it is. So
right, but what I'm saying is that Alone in the Dark fits the specific niche of weird.
I mean, it is very strange.
And I think the market that they're going towards is not, they're just not going to be affected the same way.
I mean, listen, more power to them. More power to them. Like I said, Black Friday, we will be lurking. I love me some survival horror. We shall see how it goes. But yes, Alan Wake pushed back 10 days. I just like the practice. Like I almost want to have a weekly report on games that get pushed back. There's like an indie game called Replacements. It's like it's supposed to be a Game Pass game that got pushed back next year. It just made me happy. No one really cares about the replacement. Like if you look at it, it looks cool. We haven't been talking about it all year. I've kind of been paying attention to it because it's a Game Pass game. But nothing makes me happier than hearing a game got delayed. And I don't have to buy it or think about buying it for weeks at a time, months even. 2024, great.
It's so many games that snuck out on Game Pass this year. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Well, Cassette Beats came out this year.
Cassette Beats.
That is a better Pokemon.
Better. I don't know. I haven't played Pokemon. I don't know.
It's better.
Ooh.
It has more systems.
Ooh.
Yes,
all right.
It's strong.
Listen, I'll defer. I haven't played a Pokemon game in years. So
and also Cassette Beast, once you get to like being able to combine the 2 cassettes and then being able to upgrade, it changes the game. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Sea of Stars is coming out next week. Sea of Stars.
Oh my gosh, Sea of Stars is coming out.
I think you know.
Oh my God, Sea of Stars, leave me alone.
Right.
Leave me alone.
It's on Game Pass, so it could just walk in the room.
Leave me alone.
Right.
Did you play that demo? That demo is strong.
No.
They can play no demos, but I played it and it was very good.
I was asking you. I know.
Oh yeah. Very true. WrestleQuest came out yesterday.
No. Didn't that get pushed back though?
It got pushed back because there was they found out in 0 hour that there's a glitch that can remove your save entirely. So they just said, nah, They pulled it like literally. They pulled the truck back out of they were about to set up the food truck, and then they closed it down and drove the food truck away while everyone was kind of gathering around.
Well, sushi's bad.
Exactly that. Sushi, one piece of sushi was bad, which means all of it's bad, which means we're shutting it down. See you in a week. And so now that came out. and Blasphemous 2. So I didn't like the first
Oh my
Blasphemous
God.
because it was one of those. I'm not a fan of those religion blood sacrifice games. Like, I'm not a big fan of those. But also because the first game played so much more like a Souls game than a Metroidvania game. But now the second one plays very much like a Metroidvania, and they've kind of like tightened that bit up. So now it's like, and it's like releasing on sale
Because they know. They know.
Right. It was like kind of releasing at 25. It's like a $30 game. It's releasing at $25. You know what I mean? That's God damn it. And it is absolutely relentless. But like I said, we're gonna have to make a plan. Maybe next one episode, we're just gonna have to get everybody together and just actually forge, not only talk about the games we intend to play, but how we intend to pay for them. So if anyone has
robbery.
listen,
Robbery is
if
always
if anyone needs to rob a bank, you want to get a team together, we can start on the show. If anyone's got an OnlyFans, anyone's got a SoundCloud, like, and you just put it up there, and we'll drum up support for whatever and however we need to pay for these video games. So
Please, I have no money. Literally, I have not have a paid internship. I have not been paid. We're on the line. I literally have no money.
Give me the loot.
For those who are in the podcast server, you know why this happened. Struggling disabled student out here.
exactly.
I need Armored Core. How am I supposed to do my show job without Armored Core?
Well, that Patreon.
Oh yeah,
That's
Patreon.
my groceries.
Yeah.
Patreon's literally my groceries because I'm not getting paid. Speaking of Patreon, please, I need fresh vegetables. Thank you.
Patreon.com/on-Fridays.
I've got all this frozen chicken thanks to the food bank, and I have no fresh vegetables because they keep sending me literally rotten fresh vegetables.
Oh, they keep sending you rotten fresh vegetables.
This is the third week in a
Oh.
row where it arrived with mold.
Oh, it's the heat.
Yeah.
It's the
probably
heat because the heat is fucking up the produce heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like, I
Oh.
understand, they still give stuff out, etc. It was literally covered in
Oh
mold.
no, they shouldn't give that out. Like
They shouldn't give. It was literally like I picked up a tomato and the entire top of the tomato was white.
my local
Like
supermarket.
near the stem.
Yeah.
Which means it's been it's fucked all the way through.
Right. Exactly. My local supermarket removed all of its produce for 2 days. Like we went in there and there was like the entire produce section. That's the general L shape that is the produce section in every supermarket, completely empty. Because I don't know what happened. I assume the heat shattered something, especially when it's 115 degrees for 50 days. The heat shattered something. And yeah, so I get it. They should not be giving you rotten fruit, though. Like, they need to not give you anything, as opposed to tell you they're giving you something and give you absolute fucking garbage. Like, they should not give you literal fucking garbage.
It was great. I have so much frozen chicken, and I'm like, I have nothing to pair it with.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I have like a 9-pack of bone-in chicken thigh, which is actually really great for making a stew. They sent me lamb. I can and potatoes. So I can make a lamb and potato stew, but like you put other things in that, like carrots, which were also rotten.
Yeah, I guess you do. I guess you do put produce.
Yeah, man.
So, produce, please help. If you would like bacon to eat fresh vegetables.
I mean, that's
Sorry, my stress came out.
Listen, no. That's real.
Good.
That's real. It's like I said, the issues. The summer heat tornado that we're all living underneath is ruining.
The heat tornado, hurricane, and earthquake.
Yes, it's ruining our produce. Like, we're having problems with the shit, and like I said, it's real.
Also, COVID is still a thing and has just been decimating through the migrant communities. Like, we still don't have there's still not labor out in the fields.
Yeah,
like
we're still
my regular every podcast episode. The supply chain is fucked.
Yeah, no, we're not out of a pandemic. Like, my understanding is like con season has spread COVID around pretty nicely, like melted butter. Good job.
Yeah, it has.
And yeah, and we're back, and we're in this space where we're like acting like it's just a cold, like we're in the weird denial space, which we really shouldn't be. Like the age of it being just a cold is over. I know you want it to be just a cold because COVID is a hassle, but you have to live in the world we live in. And I've seen so many people who said, "Oh, I just have a cold," and it's just like COVID, and they're just like living their life. And by the way, if you have a cold, still shut it the fuck down. Like, stop. Like, even if it's just a cold, stop. That's the most thing. It's almost like even that statement bugs me where they're like, "Oh, I thought it was just a cold." And I was like, "So you were still breathing up everybody's fucking nostrils, bro? How cold it's it?" Then you find out it was COVID. You're like, "Oh, it's COVID. I'm so sorry, bro."
My kid goes back to school tomorrow,
Bruh.
so
Yeah,
if I have to, it might be time to put on some punching gloves.
listen, bro.
Some boxing gloves, some punching gloves.
Here's the deal, bro. If they send, man, if your little one reports that they got this sniffling ass baby, and the parents are like, "That's just a cold, bro," you gotta start body slamming the parents, bro. Picking them up and put them through the tables, bro.
Dog, it's so many parents that literally will just send their kid to school.
Yeah, no,
and I'm just like, I'm not having it, dog. Especially now that I know she has like certain breathing issues. Absolutely not. So the first sign of anything, yeah, you getting to stay home. I'm sorry. That's just how I gotta go from now on. Like, you sniffle, you sneeze, you gotta stay home. So, ugh. My stress came out. I'm sorry.
This is real.
Okay. I'm in Boulder's Gate, and this lady thinks I'd be afraid of her being a worshiper of Shard. I'm like, ma'am, I'm a drow. The other, do you not realize? Do you not know who Loth is? Shar is not Loth. It's fine. I don't care.
All right, everybody. I think that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and have a pleasant day.
Peace.
Go ahead, stand up.